I will never say that a registry that is created with fundamental fairness, that is run properly, that has empirical research behind it, that is funded properly, is a bad thing. There are certain offenders who a registry may be necessary for them. But what I have found is that there are too many politicians who want to run elections on the platform of safety. And before they read the research, before they do the studies or read the studies, they know the word sex gets people going in their head. I'm protecting you from sex offenders. And they know it's an easy way to get a vote. I'm going to pass a bill that's going to add 20 new subcategories of sex offenders to the registry. I can't tell you everything about those offenders. I can't tell you everything about those offenses. I can't even tell you if the registry works. I can't even tell you how much these new 20 offenses are going to cost taxpayers. But my constituents will love it, and I will get more votes. And the registry keeps getting bigger. And let me tell you what I think anyone can understand here. When the Brock decision came down in 2023, and it declared basically that these removal provisions that the Missouri legislature spent an entire year of taxpayer dollars trying to implement could no longer be applied because of a few words that had been around since 2009. When they did that, I went and I met with the Commission on Judicial Services Safety, and I said to the room of representatives and individuals of the legislature, I said, the Missouri Supreme Court in Brock wrote the following line. This was inartfully drafted legislation. I said, they called you inartful. Is this something you want to fix? All we have to do is remove a couple words. I'll rewrite it all for you. And they said, no, we have no interest in fixing it. And to add a cherry on top, they had new legislation proposed to add more sex offenders to the registry. So not only did we lose the ability to have certain individuals who are deemed safe by judges, we lost the ability to remove those individuals. They wanted to add more individuals. And that's the problem with the registry, is we keep adding people without any studies done on the Missouri registry. We keep adding individuals without knowing what their levels of recidivism is. And we're providing no individual the ability to be removed. So you will never hear me say that a fundamentally fair, artfully drafted, carefully studied, scientifically sound registry isn't needed. But those things need to be done before we just start putting a scarlet letter on individuals and saying, hey, you're over here, we're done with you. And on top of that, we're going to make it public to everyone in Missouri, and we're going to ruin your life. Because here's the deal. An individual charged with a registrable sex offense now, since the Brock decision, I have to tell them it's a lifetime registration. I can't even tell them they're going to be a tier 1 offender and they might get off in 10 years. So great behavior. Let's be an outstanding citizen. I can't even tell them they're a tier 2 offender and it might be 25 years. I have to tell them it's a lifetime obligation. And if it were between the lifetime obligation of a scarlet letter and a prosecutor came to me and said, you know what? You've shown me all the reasons you don't belong on the registry for the rest of your life. But I'm going to need you to cut off your left arm to not go on the registry. I would have to advise my client, you should cut off your left arm because you don't want to be on the registry. Because anyone on the registry knows what that takes from you. The registry can take away any hope of a good career, any hope of having a family. Think about that for an individual found guilty of a sex offense and on the registry. There's a Missouri law that says those individuals on the registry who have certain sex offenses immediately cannot have custody rights after a divorce. So they lose the right to be a parent. They cannot coach their kids. They cannot volunteer at schools. They cannot go on school property without permission of the superintendent. And the Missouri legislature right now even wants to make that stricter. They cannot go to certain parks, pools. They cannot live a certain distance from certain places. All because of the registry. So if it's between cutting off my left arm to stay off of the registry and going on the registry, I think many people would choose to cut off their left arm.